Is iPhoneography real photography?
What is net neutrality?
And where can I park?
This week we teach you the secrets to handheld video editing, getting hold of a business directly on Google Hangouts.
And we have an important warning for all Uber users.
This is Luke Besant.
And Cameron Norris.
Every week we bring you the latest industry news, must-have reviews, gadgets and internet culture.
Giving our opinions on the wider legal, social and moral implications of life in our digital age.
This is Up to Date.
So kicking off episode 28, we have news that Valve, the creators of the world's most popular online gaming platform, have been quietly at work on their own virtual reality headset. The new headset is set to offer the most immersive virtual reality experience currently available, thanks to a full 360-degree field of vision and 90 frames per second video capabilities.
These features combined with two 1080p should eliminate the jitter found in current VR headsets and achieve much more photorealistic imagery.
The most interesting part of this for me is that this is the first device to offer a full room scale experience, so you can get up, walk around and explore the virtual space with your physical body.
It also uses laser positioning sensors to track your head movements as precisely as 1/10 of a degree. Like, wow, seriously.
That is impressive though, 1/10 of a degree. I don't think I can even visualise that kind of accuracy. Imagine trying to do that with a compass.
Yeah, if somebody said to me, move your head 1/10 of a degree, I wouldn't know how far to move it.
I wouldn't move. HTC officially announced on Sunday that they have partnered with Valve to create the device and that the headset should be due for release by the end of this year.
And that's not all. Content providers, including HBO, Lionsgate and Google, are rumoured to have partnerships with the duo too.
Now the headset is actually called the VV, and to me it kind of resembles a Cyber Ninja's optic face mask, if you can imagine one of those. And personally I like it, but a lot of others have been a bit less impressed because it is bug-eyed, for lack of a better term. You do look like you've got a spider's face kind of attached to where your eyes should be.
Well, none of the headsets at the moment are exactly elegant solutions. They're polishing a Tupperware box on your face. As we said before, it looks like you've got your sandwich box taped to the front of your face, but
it does definitely kind of spray painted satin black.
Half ski mask, half Tupperware box.
Yeah. Half ninja spider. Well, I like the look of this headset anyway, and the trailer is pretty spectacular too, and you should definitely check it out. So we'll include a link in this week's newsletter. So if you haven't signed up, head over to the website, uptodatepodcast.com, and sign up.
Hate to be bringing us down this early in the show, but my only gripe with this product is its name. A VV?
VV, I know, it's not very
sounds like a female hygiene product, doesn't it? Like, I can't believe nobody said that in the board meeting.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. I agree, yeah. You've got a VV strapped to your face, Luke.
Yeah.
Moving on. I've actually been using Steam, which is the game client developed by Valve, to download a really interesting game called Stranded Deep that's just become available for early access. Now, this game would be absolutely perfect for VR. I mean, it would be unreal. It's basically the Castaway movie from 2000 with Tom Hanks turned into an incredibly beautiful survival game, complete with the Wilson volleyball head, who is Tom Hanks' only friend on the island, if you haven't seen the film. And you can even find the FedEx packages that Tom Hanks collects in the movie, which have been rebranded quite appropriately as Dead X, which I think is pretty cool. So seriously, I love this game. I've survived for 28 days so far, mainly off shark meat and coconuts. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Get it now while it's early access. You'll get it for a cheaper price. And when it comes out on VR, especially Steam or Valve's own VR headset, it will be amazing. Imagine cooperative VR.
See, the thing is, I can't imagine myself in the Castaway situation. I never thought the actual storyline and premise of that film isn't as good as the actual acting from Tom Hanks. Put it this way, without Tom Hanks, that film wouldn't have worked if it was like Danny Dyer or Channing Tatum, you know?
Okay.
And I think it maybe doesn't make quite the right setting for a video game, but if you recommend it, I'll definitely check it out.
Seriously, Luke, I never thought that swimming could be so terrifying. Forget the Jaws music. This game has its own music, and as soon as you hear that, it's just instant fear. You're kind of scrambling to climb back on your raft after trying to explore a coral reef.
Is it as memorisable?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got my own Wilson and I have a turtle. And actually, there's 4 turtles, or 4 different species of turtle, which are named after the Ninja Turtles. There's like
Nice.
Leonardo, something or other, the lot. It's amazing.
You really know your Ninja Turtles.
Well, I've only got the Leonardo turtle. I keep him next to my bed.
Google Business Chat. As we all know, Google have been flirting with the idea of video chat in Hangouts being used to connect potential consumers with Google device experts, and they've tested that feature for a while now. However, this week it has emerged that they're planning to do something even bigger with the video chat technology. They're now said to be testing a new feature that lets users chat directly with businesses they search for.
So at the moment, if you search for an indexed business using Google, you'll find it on the right-hand side of the Google map, with a pin on their store or office. You may also find a phone number, a short About Me section, and some other basic information such as an email address. But Google are now hoping to add a new chat button which will link you directly to a live Hangouts video or text chat with somebody from the business.
This has been spotted by only a handful of people on Twitter, and it's hardly rolled out to any businesses or clients. So if you come across this feature, make sure you send us a screen cap at iOS App News 24, unless you're listening after the official rollout, in which case, maybe don't. In which case, still do.
We would like to hear from people. If you want to see what the feature looks like, search Dizengoff on Google. That is Dizengoff. It's very similar to Path's Talk feature. However, Google has a larger user base naturally, so kiss that goodbye, Path.
So Cameron, would you like to tell us a little bit about smart luggage? It's finally here.
It is, absolutely. Now, we love Internet of Things. I'm always messing around on if, because, last show, if.
Yep.
Well, the Internet of Things startup Blue Smart has partnered with Telefonica to provide connectivity for their soon-to-be-released smart luggage after a successful Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign reached its initial funding goal in only 121 minutes. How amazing is that? Then the campaign went on to raise a further $2 million in pre-orders from over 8,000 backers. Wow.
Can I just drop in there? I was going to make a little joke about IFTTT. I'm calling them the Scat Jazz Network. If do. Next one's Bop.
You're on a roll today. You're chilling about. Well, the suitcase, because, this is not a comedy show, it's actually a technology show, boasts features that include location tracking, device charging, app-based remote controlling, and the partnership with Telefonica's machine-to-machine network opens up the possibility for Blue Smart's clients to track their suitcases at all times from anywhere they are.
Is it going to be okay with airport officials to have trackers inside your bags? Because that kind of technology has been frowned upon before by the aviation industry. I hope it goes well for them, but I don't really see, Malaysian Airlines letting them do it.
Well, no, not when they want to make some planes disappear.
That would actually have cleared up a lot of the problems there if everyone knew where their bags were.
That's right, exactly. Too soon? Well, as you say, Luke, the move should see an end to the hassle that frequent travellers experience when airlines lose their bags. And while this is all awesome, my one dig is that it's being marketed as a carry-on suitcase, which makes most of the extra functionality completely pointless, because my suitcase isn't going to be lost by the airport if I'm carrying it on the flight with me. They didn't think that through.
Well, I think for the most part, again, I think it's because the aviation industry frowned upon you putting trackers in bags that you hand over to them, so maybe they're trying to play it down for the sake of the aviation industry and play it up secretly to us.
I think you might be right there, Luke. That's a very good point. So, Luke, I need a place to park. I believe you have an app for that?
You won't be surprised when I tell you there is a lot of in-car technology now that you can use right from your mobile phone. But the idea of this next app is in a complete league of its own. Israeli companies are taking a different approach to the problem, predicting where spaces can be found based on mobile data analytics.
That's insane. That is insane.
Anagog have developed an app which can guide drivers to empty on-street parking using real-time crowdsourced data from mobile phones, similar to the way the other Israeli app, Waze, has successfully done with navigation, or should I call it Google Waze, as it is now. Anagog learns users' behaviour to know when the users are going to get into their car and start driving away, which essentially means that you have to have the app and the other driver has to have the app in order for you to find out that they're about to move away from that space. So I suppose the benefit of this is that you're getting the competitive edge for parking, which is always a useful thing, and you'll know when the parking space is going to be free first.
This sounds a lot like that time Batman hacked everyone's smartphones so he could see what was going on.
Oh, that was so awesome, that scene. Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
This should be like Anagon Gotham.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
This app would make a lot of sense to be brought up by American companies, similar to the way Waze was, with the parking industry in the US being worth over $25 billion a year. That's in the United States alone. It is twice that in Western Europe.
Wow. That's some serious money.
Yeah.
That's just to leave your car somewhere.
Yeah.
What more can I say?
There is nothing else you can add to that, really. Moving on into a very, very short article. I think this is actually shorter than the Twitter article I did a couple of weeks ago, but I think this one's a little bit more interesting. VLC relaunched for iOS. VLC Player, the popular desktop application for playing almost any type of media file format, has now been launched for iOS in its first major coordinated release across platforms.
Oh wow, I'm going to have to download that today actually. Because I use VLC on my computer. I mean, it's great. You can chuck anything at it. You don't have to convert and faff around like with a lot of programs. They've got it for iOS, brilliant. I mean, there's been a lot of problems with compatibility. I mean, what is it? You need the OOG files on websites, for example, to play them. Not great. Chuck a VLC app into your phone.
It would be interesting to see if they could somehow bring Flash compatibility into the iPhone using the VLC player.
Oh wow! I wonder if that's possible.
I don't know. I wish I did, because then I'd sound ultra smart. But sometimes you just don't know things.
Sometimes you just don't know.
So Uber says security breach has affected about 50,000 drivers.
Now, it's not often we do articles about Uber on the show because, well, it's a whole can of worms that we get far too interested in and we don't stop talking. And we've discussed it massively over Series 1 of the show. However, the ride-sharing startup have stated that a data breach last year may have allowed a hacker to gain access to the license numbers of 50,000 drivers.
So this is just a warning and a heads up to our listeners who use the service. Don't panic too much, as Uber have stated that it was a one-time access to the database by unauthorized third parties in September 2014. Immediately upon discovery, we changed the access protocols for the database, removing the possibility of unauthorized access. We have notified impacted drivers, but we have not received any reports of actual misuse of information as a result of the incident. Uber says that it has impacted over 50,000 drivers in the USA, with the Los Angeles Times reporting that 20,000 Uber drivers were impacted in California alone. Uber said that it was offering free credit monitoring to those who were affected to guard against the license information being used for identity theft.
Well, they've dealt with that really well then, by the sounds of it, actually.
Well, hopefully, yeah, but they do have a bit of a track record at the moment of getting in trouble.
Yeah, and I don't think this is particularly going to help their public image.
So next up, are you a school teacher? Are you a college teacher? Are you a university teacher? Do you have a trouble with students ignoring you and instead going on their phones throughout class time? I can imagine it's pretty annoying these days. Not so much back in our day, but now I'm pretty sure it's probably the most annoying thing in the world when your kid can be playing SimCity Build It and Farmville, Candy Crush, and not listening to you. So here's how we can help you. An app that rewards students for ignoring calls in class.
Now, Luke, you're absolutely right. Smartphone owners quite literally have the internet at their fingertips at all times. Many of who are students, myself included, technically speaking, for about another 2 weeks. And they're definitely more easily distracted than previous generations. I mean, who can deny the internet, the almighty power of the internet? Well, this next app, Pocket Points, rewards students who can resist checking their phones during lessons with discounts at local stores. All you need to do is open the application and lock your phone. The longer the phone remains untouched, the more points you earn towards redeeming your rewards. 20 minutes earns 1 point and rewards usually cost 10 to 15 points. Users can then visit the app's online gift store to convert the points into coupons to be redeemed with participating businesses. And businesses currently signed up for the scheme are offering everything from free coffee to discounts on music and clothing. I think it's a really great idea. There's a lot of similar apps. There's ones that punish you for driving or texting while driving.
Yep.
I mean, we've looked at Carrot, the Carrot app, the fitness app, health apps. This kind of punishment or reward systems, it's really interesting. I wonder what's going to be more popular, the punishing apps or the reward apps?
Oh, it's the carrot or the stick.
The carrot
or the carrot.
The carrot or the carrot. The carrot or the stick, I like that, yeah.
So staying in schools, Photomath's first day at high school. As some of our long-term listeners may remember, back in 2014 we spoke about Photomath, the app which would use character recognition technology on printed mathematical equations to answer questions. The app has been freely available from the App Store for several months now, and the Android version was released this week. The app, which will even show your working out for you, has been downloaded over 11 million times, so well done you guys. And on Thursday, for the first time, it claims on their new update that it has high school level ability. I'm not saying this should be used to cheat school, but you could certainly use it to check your homework before handing it in to the teacher or your lecturer or whoever.
That's a really good idea.
A lot of teachers agree with me, in fact.
Yeah, that's a nice use for it. That's a really nice use for it.
But don't cheat.
But don't cheat. No. Unless you don't get caught, of course. But,
yeah, unless you don't get caught.
Yeah. So this week has been huge for iPhoneography with Apple's new advertising campaign. But how does 100 of your photos printed every month for a year for free sound? Well, with the Snapfish app, you can get just that. With this app, you can access all of your photos on your device, including those you and your friends have uploaded to Facebook, Instagram, and Flickr, and print 100 6x4-inch photos of them per month for free. The only cost is the $1.99 shipping fee. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. And I think this is great because according to Flickr, the iPhone has held the title of the world's most popular camera for years. For years, there's more photos uploaded to Flickr taken on iPhones than anything else.
See, I would have thought it would have been the Samsung smart cameras that came out a couple of years ago. Because of the compatibility and the professionalism of being able to attach different lenses, I would have thought that would be much more popular on platforms such as Flickr. Maybe not so much on platforms such as Instagram, but certainly on Flickr.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, Luke, because the Samsung Galaxy S3 only recently replaced the original iPhone for the number 5 spot on the most popular smartphone cameras list. And it's actually the only non-Apple smartphone that made the ranking. And I mean, on top of this, Apple is now launching a new ad campaign dedicated to images shot by iPhone users. And this new campaign appears to be an attempt to push the idea that iPhone is a powerful creative tool in the hands of both professional photographers and casual users, and admittedly the photos they selected as examples are pretty stunning. The campaign is entitled Shot on iPhone 6 and it starts next week with photos captured by iPhone 6 owners featured on billboards in 70 cities in 24 countries around the world. Now I think it's absolutely amazing that Apple have succeeded in creating an entire offshoot branch of photography based around their devices. I mean, come on, who hasn't heard of the term iPhoneography, and what self-respecting iPhone user doesn't consider themselves an iPhoneographer? Even if it's just to themselves. We know it's true, Luke, I know it's true. And I think that the camera confidence level actually plays a really important role in this, especially in the success and the kind of mass adoption that we're seeing on Flickr, because Apple have made it a lot easier to get a good looking picture. I mean, yeah, you can now play around with manual camera settings thanks to the new iOS 8 update, but 99% of people simply, they don't actually have a clue what they're doing. They're just playing around with their settings. And you just don't have time to fiddle around like that when you're trying to capture something that is happening in the moment. I actually think that's why I won the Explore Kent Spring Photography competition. Just thought I'd drop that in there with my iPad, I might add, because I was using my iPad and then I spotted this opportunity to take this photo. I'll put a link up on the blog. There's actually a little blog I've written about animal photography. It's not too bad, check it out. And I was able to act immediately because I had the iPad here. It was in my hands, ready. I mean, if I've got faff around in my bag, put a lens on, adjust the camera settings to, fit the light, it's not going to happen, is it? You're going to miss that moment. But iPhones have made it so easy to capture the moment. And they're the best pictures, not staged ones. So Luke, this is my question. As we enter
the opinion section.
Luke, do you think that iPhoneography is real photography?
Well, I'm just riffing off the top of my head here, so do excuse me if I just start going into complete gobbledygook. But I believe that iPhoneography is actually a completely new genre of photography because of my experience of most photographers has been at live gigs and events, whereas people with an iPhone don't have the confidence of going up into the barricades of a music festival or into these really intricate positions where they're like lying down on the floor taking upwards shots into the lights behind your head. But I think that's really cool because what they're trying to do is create images from the position that people genuinely stand in. They're creating beautiful looking images from real life perspectives, whereas most photographers, I think, as a whole, would deliberately get into certain positions in order to create certain lighting effects and certain things, whereas people using an iPhone, the whole genre of iPhoneography is taking a photo as of where you are and a real life position, real life scenario, real life lighting.
Now I really love what you've said there, Luke, actually. I really do, because most of the photos that Apple have selected for this campaign are actually from commuters. So
I think it strips away a little bit of the artistry. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
However, as a subgenre, it's good. I wouldn't. If somebody took a similar photo from a normal camera, I would think it was a bit of a terrible. I think it might be a bit of a terrible photo.
Yeah.
But it's because of the way the thing's been captured that it's beautiful.
There's
it's
an authenticity to it.
There's an authenticity. It's like the way Radiohead record. It's totally different because that's what they do.
I love it. No, that's great. What a brilliant answer. I don't say that often on this show. Well, on the topic of iPhoneography, I've been checking out the ExoLens iPhone 6 lens kit. And now, with all the money that you're going to be saving on those 1,200 free photos we've just hooked you up with, why not splash out on the newly released ExoLens iPhone 6 lens kit? Now, this lens is pretty amazing with 165-degree wide-angle lenses, a 4 times telescopic lens, and a lens hood, and just as importantly, a really, really cool design. It's actually more like a partial case than a mount, and it's very futuristic looking. It has a full metal body and a rubberized inside to protect the iPhone, and you can even mount the frame on a standard tripod. This is iPhoneography hardcore. I really like it. It looks impressive. It's like kind of like alien technology Transformers meets Nikon and Canon in a beautiful fusion.
So would you say it was anything like the Terminatrix?
This is the Terminatrix of iPhoneography.
Me and Cameron's Terminatrix screenplay will be coming out in the foreseeable future, so keep an eye out for that.
You'll be able to find it alongside Sharknado in the discount section of your local DVD store.
Bargain bin. Next up, and I'll tell you how we'll edit it together, we'll be using my app of the week, Clips. My app of the week this week is Clips. Clips is a free, kind of freemium, but we'll get back to that in a second, app that allows you to edit videos in a super intuitive way. If you're a regular user of popular editing softwares such as Adobe Premiere, Sony Vegas, or even iMovie, you'll be super jealous of the new intuitive interface on this iPhone app. Obviously it's not as powerful, but you can genuinely create great looking amateur video edits right from your iPhone with a clip cutting technique which I don't really know how to describe other than not a timeline, which you'd be used to if you used any of the other interfaces. It allows you to change what transitions you use, such as cut and dissolve, edit audio together, edit the levels of audio between music playing from your iPhone, voiceovers, and the original footage audio. I would say this is an all-round enjoyable new way of video editing right from your iPhone. I highly recommend that anybody look it up if they're looking for a super fast, lightweight video editing suite. It's not too dissimilar from the Vine video editing suite to feel. It is actually quite, it's not similar to Vine, but the way it feels is similar to Vine, the way you edit it together.
Same kind of theme.
Yeah, same sort of theme, same sort of graphic design in the actual interface itself. The only downside I found so far is this sneaky in-app purchase cost to remove a stage right watermark logo. So that's a bit annoying. I think that's $3.99 for like a year or 2 years or something like that.
So it's only a subscription model as well. You don't purchase it permanently.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would check the facts, but we're a bit tight on time. One awesome side feature though, you can directly post it to all kinds of social media, including Instagram, and they'll even give you guides on how to make a square video.
Sounds like a good app. The video that you showed me that you did, I was really impressed with actually.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of one of those Fug Life videos.
Yeah.
There I am working on the computer, and Luke kind of goes to me, Cameron. I turn around, giving this kind of half awake stare with some coffee kind of dripping down my face, like hello. And then brilliant music in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fug Life.
Fug life.
So we're going to wrap up the show with a really important listener question. And that is, what is net neutrality?
So this is a huge subject, really, and for us to indulge you in the entire thing would probably take about an hour and a half to get you up to date with the history of it. So we're going to give you the quickest masterclass and blurb of what is net neutrality you're probably ever going to hear. Try and remember this one off by heart so you sound smart at parties.
Okay, to sum up net neutrality in a single sentence, an evil group of internet service providers want to alter the way the internet works for their own financial benefit by artificially limiting your online services.
These ISPs or internet service providers want to collect more money from the companies you use by holding your data hostage unless companies like Netflix and Facebook pay a ransom.
And yes, this is a slight dramatisation, but it's also factually correct.
Essentially, what may have happened and did happen for a tiny period of time is that internet service providers prevented services such as Netflix by slowing them down and telling them that they have to pay the ISPs more money in order to get it to you at the normal rate.
And I mean, essentially what was happening is that ISPs could select which companies they wanted to completely, disable online.
And the beautiful thing is, for the most part, companies would benefit massively from slowing down Netflix because they tend to have this wonderful media package that you can buy, which is a competitor of Netflix. No vested interest there.
No, none at all. Cable TV, anyone? And the internet has been such an innovative, disruptive and Darwinian power because network operators can't play favourites, and startups like Uber don't have to ask them for permission to build innovative services that may put existing, less competitive companies out of business.
I'd argue that data neutrality should be assured by law, and in America at the moment they are trying to pass it as a common carrier, which would mean they're treated with the same
utility status as electricity, water and gas.
Perfect. So that's what net neutrality is. Stand up for net neutrality, don't be told otherwise. Anybody who tells you otherwise works for the people who is going to take a lot of money from you.
And I think that's it for Up to Date this week.
Thank you very much for listening in. I have been Luke Besson.
And I've been Cameron Norris.
See you next week.
You've been listening to the Up to Date podcast.
Follow us on Twitter at iOS App News 24. Find us on Facebook, the Up to Date podcast, where you can catch up with the latest show notes, artwork and discussions and more.
We also offer a free weekly email news summary which you can sign up for through the Facebook page.
And if you're interested in sponsoring or a partnership with the show, make sure you visit our website www.3deal.co.uk for more information.
Subscribe and we'll see you next week.